Alright, I'm going to go through the bee yard and see how busy each hive is since I've put out my sugar syrup filled honey supers. This hive here doesn't seem like they are super busy compared to some of my other hives I've seen already, but I do think that they have found that sugar syrup. There's quite a few bees coming back now all at the same time. Alright, let's go to the next hive. Alright, here's a couple nukes I've made in the past few weeks. The one closest to me with the pink front has a laying queen in it. The blue one, I put a queen cell in there that I grafted off the same queen that this pink hive came from. And I didn't see her in there earlier, but there was a lot of bees. I gave that hive a full wall-to-wall, so to speak, frame of cap brood whenever I made that nuke, and they have all emerged, and there is a ton of bees in that little nuke right there, little 5-frame nuke. So this is as busy as I've ever seen them. I think both these hives have found that sugar syrup tower that I created earlier. Alright, let's leave them alone, go to the next one. I would definitely say these guys, or girls more rather, are in and out, in and out, in and out. So they're definitely finding that food that's up for the taking right now, out in the open. Next hive. So this hive is a carnelian hive, and for some reason earlier, this is one of the hives that I took one of the honey supers off of that was full of sugar syrup. The second deep on this, they haven't completely worked out, which is kind of part of the experiment I'm wanting to do with this whole, clean the sugar syrup out of my honey supers experiment, to see if they will, because I've been feeding them and they still haven't worked out all the frames in that second deep. I think there's like 4 frames they haven't messed with. So I'm curious to see if they will finish those frames out or not, since they're going to be in and out of the hive like there's a nectar flow. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted with that. Earlier I had to reduce all the entrances on these hives because it just seemed like there's so much activity in the bee yard that all these bees were just they were so active that they're just starting to rob each other out. So this hive here was starting to get robbed out, so I reduced the entrances on these guys, or girls again I should say. Next hive. Alright, so this hive here is my favorite hive of all of them that I've got. I like all of them, but this hive has made more comb and made honey faster earlier this spring. Let me tell you what they've done this year. They started as a 5-frame nuke I bought from a guy about an hour and a half away from here. They built out both these deeps and then 3 honey supers, plus another 5 frames worth of deep frames. And I pulled frames from these girls to make those nukes with, so I think I was just in this hive earlier and I cannot remember, but there's at least 4, I think there's 5 or 6 frames upstairs that were waxed that were not drawn out, I think 2 weeks ago, and they've got at least 2 of them pulled out with brood in them already. So I'm curious to see if they finish out the rest of these deep frames that are in the second deep, because they're going to have somewhere to store all this honey that they're bringing back in that I took from them. Trying to get them prepped for winter. I only want them in 2 deeps with a bunch of food. So on to the next hive. This is one of my Italian hives. A real good queen. She's definitely graft worthy. The bottom brood box I've got a queen excluder on top of it. The whole second deep is pretty much, I'd say at least 80% full of food, but the bottom deep is like 8 plus frames of brood every time I open her up. She's an egg factory. So you can see I've got the entrance. I'm not going to get too close because there's so much traffic, but got some wood blocking their entrance off a little bit, help with robbing and all that. But I mean, they are going to town on this sugar syrup fiesta. Let's go see what. I got one more hive, and it's a mean one, so I'm not going to get too close. Alright, this is my last hive here. They've got about, I think, 4 frames in a second deep built out, and they're working on a few more because they've got brood in those 4 frames. So, but this is my meanest hive, and they are Italian bees, pardon me. But they've definitely found they found the tower of nectar that I built earlier out of those honey supers. So curious to see how they go about building more comb and all that. So y'all enjoy your beekeeping. Wish you guys well. See you on the next one.